actually moved here. I'm going to tell you this is actually a true story. I moved here in 1997. May 22nd, 1997 from Chile, right? And a week after I got here, I came up to Prince George. Yeah, they sent me up here. I got a job as a door-to-door salesman. People don't hire Chileans, man, straight off the boat. They send them like, they're like, can you speak English? Sure, you're hired. That's what happened to me. Anyways, I came up here and I was here. I stayed at the Ranch Motel. I was actually around last night. I was hanging out with like Chris and his friend, and we're like, "Can we swing by the Ranch Motel? I just want to see that place." And they were like, "No, we don't want to go near that place." Fuck that. Anyways, yeah. So the thing is that when I moved here to Canada, which was 12 years ago today. Thank you for the applause. You guys are so cool. Applauded like 5 seconds ago. Anyways, one of the main reasons I moved up here is like a lot of people come out here for different reasons, you know, for second chance in life, all that shit. You know, that's all nice and good. But one of the main reasons I moved up here was because I wanted to see porn. Because you know, the thing is that in 1997, you know, like porn in Chile was against the law, right? And I moved here. I was like 23 years old, and I hadn't seen porn in my life. You know what I mean? No porn. You know? Fatal Attraction, that's all I had seen up until that point. And Basic Instinct. So I was like obsessed with this. Like, you guys don't understand. I was really obsessed with this, man. Straight off the plane, I was looking for porn. Like, I was going through customs, and they were like, "Oh, what business do you have in Canada, sir?" And I'm all like, "I'm here to see porn. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you." And the guy kind of looked around and he goes, "I guess that's cool. You should go to Woody's on Burnett. That's a good place to go." Well, anyways, I went and I went straight to like the video place and I tried to rent this like porn. It was like, back then it was like videotapes, you know what I mean? It wasn't like no DVDs or anything like that. So I ended up renting this 6-hour compilation tape. I didn't know you only needed 10 minutes at the time. That was my first porn, okay? Don't judge me. Hell, 5 minutes would have been fine, fuck it. Anyways, I took it home and I watched it, and afterwards extremely tired. Like, you have no idea how tired I was. I was like Rocky at the end. Like, I was like, picking me off the ground type shit. Well, anyways, like, then Lady Di dies, like, right after that, right? Like, the next day, she dies, right? And fucking, it was, like, fucked up. And I don't know if you guys remember, but every channel was, like, fucking following the whole Lady Di situation. Even, like, the Home and Garden Network had her with a shovel. Like, it was everywhere you went. And I was sitting on the couch, and I was, like, beside my mother and my sister, and we're all, like, sitting, and my dog, she wants to, and we're watching the whole Lady Di thing on the TV, right? And my dog wants to go for a walk. She starts pawing me, like, "Let's go for a walk." And I'm like, "Fuck off." She's like, "Come on, let's go for a walk." I'm like, "Fuck off." And all of a sudden, she goes like this, and she hits the eject button on the remote, and this tape pops out of the VCR, right? And it says, "Best of Cum, Volume 6. I'm like, "Ah!" And I looked over at my mother and sister, and they're so fixated on the Lady Di, they didn't notice the tape. So I very nonchalantly get out of my chair, you know, and I walked over to the VCR, and I pushed the tape back in. Now. Okay, I should preface this part of the story by saying that in Chile I had one of those old school VCRs that didn't start right away when you pushed the tape in. My mother had just bought this new one, right? And that apparently had this function. And I didn't even know this thing could happen, like, right? So I sat back down and I'm all like, "Hoo-hoo-hoo, I just dodged a bullet." And all of a sudden, there's this chick, she's bent over and she's naked. And I think to myself, what channel is this? All of a sudden, this guy walks into frame, grabs the girl and starts going to town. And I'm like, "Oh my God," and my mother and sister are like, "Change the channel, change the channel." So I grabbed the remote and I honestly thought it was a channel. So I tried to change the channel. And I'm like trying to change it. I'm like, fucking, and now this guy's like, "Fuck yeah." Just like, and my mother and sister are like, "Fucking, what's wrong with you? Change the fucking channel. This isn't funny." And I'm trying to change it, and all of a sudden this thought pops into my head. Could it be the porn? How could it be the porn? I never pressed play. This makes no sense. What the fuck's going on? I'm gonna press stop just to see what happens, just in case, right? So I press stop, and the word "stop" comes across the TV screen. In like big letters. I'm so fucked. So it was an awkward silence there for a second. I looked over at my mother. My mother looks at me and she goes, "Was that the porn?" And I look at her, I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm sorry. I was fulfilling a dream, you know?" And my mother looks at me and she goes, thank God, because I thought that was Lady Di. Well, apparently right before I pushed that tape in, the anchorman, he was on the TV screen and he was all like, and now the last images. Of our beautiful, beautiful princess. She was the people's princess, you know? She was such a giver. Okay, I gotta go, everybody. Thank you very, very much for having me here.